In today's episode of the Alter Bridge Universe, a series where I'm reviewing every full-length album recorded by a member of Alter Bridge, we're looking at the incredible debut record, All I Was by Tremonti. So, let's get started. Let's be straight, if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you know that Tremonti is one of my all-time favorite bands. And at this point, it's a toss-up as to whether I like them more or less than Alter Bridge. I'll likely be torn between these two groups for all eternity, but I know one thing for sure. All I Was is undeniably incredible, and it makes a strong case for being one of the best, most cohesive modern rock albums of all time. There is not a single bland moment during its 49.5-minute runtime, and it's gripping and epic the whole way through. Mark Tremonti chose to record the album separate from his main groups because there are, quote, some songs that I'd hate to think wouldn't see the light of day because they don't work for Alter Bridge or Creed. I'm sure that this was a tough decision, but man, was it the right one. Most of the tracks on All I Was would just sound wrong if they had Miles or Scott Stapp singing or Scott Phillips drumming. Supported by Eric Friedman and Garrett Whitlock of Submersed, the band's high level of musicianship is honestly something to behold. Most songs are heavy and built on riffs, but they never sacrifice the melody or structure of a song in favor of oddities or gimmicks. Additionally, Mark's tones and sounds are consistent throughout the whole record, but his actual parts have so much diversity that no two songs will sound alike. The group's writing perfectly balances fast and slow, loud and quiet, tension and release, like no other artist I've ever heard. However, the guitar riffs and drums aren't the only factors contributing to this album's success. Perhaps most importantly, Mark stepped outside his comfort zone for All I Was and made his debut as a lead vocalist for a full record. And just like his performance on Words Darker Than Their Wings from AB3, he knocks it out of the park. His baritone range perfectly complements his penchant for low alternate guitar tunings, and he's as capable a lyricist and storyteller as any other famous rock singer. Most importantly though, he's got an excellent sense for writing catchy, non-corny melodies, something not often seen in metal music. You can sing along to his tracks as easily as you can headbang to them, though be prepared for your throat to go raw if you try and match his growls and rasp. Songs like Leave It Alone, So You're Afraid, and the title track All I Was demonstrate his insane shredding talent, while his vocal chops are put on display in The Things I've Seen, New Way Out, and Decay. I also want to give a shout out to Eric Friedman, since he never gets as much credit as he deserves. The man's got a wealth of talent, guitar skills, bass prowess, and a killer voice. His high note at the end of Proof is one of my favorite moments from the entire record. He and Mark complement each other so well, and I'd love to see him take his own crack at being a lead vocalist. Who knows? Maybe someday he'll feature as a co-lead singer on a Tremonti or a Projected song. Finally, one more highlight goes to the man behind the scenes, Elvis Baskette. In my opinion, this record is one of his best works. Every part is distinct and audible, meaning you can appreciate the depth and intricacies of each song. It's powerful and full, but not overbearing, and I could listen to this album on repeat endlessly. If ever there was a masterclass on how to mix and write a metal album, this record could be the textbook. I must say, after 10 years, All I Was has aged incredibly well, and I think it'll remain a timeless hallmark of metal for decades to come. It's an utter masterpiece, nearly impossible to replicate, but as we all know, Tremonti is an unstoppable force who just keeps pumping out bangers like there's no tomorrow. I could probably rave over this album for another 20 minutes, but I'll spare you my rambling and instead leave you with a recommendation. If someone wants to get into Tremonti, or just metal music for that matter, I can think of no better album to whet their appetite. For a final score, I'm giving All I Was by Tremonti a 10 out of 10. That's right, I'm giving it a perfect score, and whether you agree or disagree, let me hear it down in the comments. Tomorrow we're finishing up the string of debut albums with Projected's first release, Human, so make sure to tune in for the next episode. In case you've missed any of my previous reviews, go check out this playlist with every episode of the Alter Bridge universe. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow.